Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've just finished putting the final touches of varnish on these this morning. It's getting on to midday here on Monday the something of December, whatever it is. Yeah, I've just finished these. These are resin printed miniatures, 28mm. They are Napoleonic Russian themed miniatures for the silver bayonet or whatever system you prefer. They aren't the official North Star silver bayonet miniatures. These are from Lost Heresy miniatures, sculpted by Bill Thornhill, who may be well known to some of you when he used to do only putty based sculpting for a vast amount of the footsore miniature range and other things over the years. So and he's become a very adept with ZBrush or whatever he's using. And these are lovely figurines. Now, as I say, they were 3D resin prints. That's how they came to me in their bare resin form. Because I work under magnification, I have a magnifying visor to look at just with the eye. You will probably spot very few of the printing artifacts, the little rods, support rods, but when you put it under magnification to prepare the figures for painting, there's still a number, and that's typical of most 3D prints that have come across my desk, and I've done quite a few now, that they'll, once you get it under a magnifying visor, getting it ready to paint, you'll find that you need your very sharp knife just to nip those little rods off. They can pop up in all sorts of places, and even then you can still find, a bit like the worms on the perimetal castings, you think you got them all, and then you still find another one after you've already started painting. So but these are really nice figures. They are lovely, really are full of character. Quite the the choice of the figures is not dissimilar to what's available in the North Star sets in terms of theming. There's a Russian Orthodox priest. You've got a couple of Russian mitred grenadiers. Now, and a couple of lovely flaming torches in it as well. I'll put those on either end. Now the flames were basically, I did that with, you could use contrast or speed paint or whatever. I used Vallejo Express. So the flames were undercoated, or given so I normally use a light grey undercoat, but the flames I did white, and then I used like a yellow Vallejo Express colour, and then an orange sort of blending into that, and then the red at the top blending into that, and then I got a kind of a smoky kind of color and just lightly touched the very tips of the flame. It may come up on the photos, I'm not sure, just to indicate that's where it's starting to, the furthest reach of the flame is starting to turn into like smoky vapors. So anyway, I haven't gone for object source lighting. I haven't got a lot of experience with that. I have done a little bit of it in the past. I'm a bit reluctant to do it with customers' miniatures unless they really want me to, because I don't want to use them as a guinea pig. I probably should practice it on some rando miniature of my own. But also I have a theory as well that these figures, they could have their flaming torches out in the middle of the day. Maybe it depends on the nature of the adventure, doesn't it? Maybe they're just about to go into a cave, and maybe they wouldn't be very lit up. Or maybe This guy's in front and this guy's behind him. So whose light is lighting who? See, if it was real hardcore object source lighting, and say they were in a cavern or something, I would paint the back part that's behind him really, really dark, and really put a lot of yellow and orange into the front part. But yeah, I think the flames are nice and bright themselves, and I think it just, to my mind, it means that they can be in a variety of settings. Maybe one is coming after the other, or it's the daytime, but they're still dealing with creatures that don't like fire or whatever. Who knows? I'm blathering on. All that is to say, I didn't do full-on object source lighting, that's for sure. Or, yeah, just try to make those flames bright. So, yes, the Russian Napoleonic uniform, I used the guide. I believe I've mentioned it in a previous video where I painted some Russian Napoleonics. I can't remember the chap's name, but he had some painting tips on his website. So, sorry. I can't remember the paints though. So I started with German camo. Is it German camo dark green? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's a Vallejo color. That's my base color for the green, and then I used German uniform, not field grey, but a Vallejo color called German uniform, and so I did my base color of dark green, camo dark green. Then my wash went over everything, and then back in with that color again, and then started to add some of the German uniform into that to get successive sort of layered highlights and things. And then the final highlights were done with pretty much neat German uniform. So what I found was that I had to do this morning. I was having to do a lot of going back and again with my ultramatte varnish, because I think it's come from the German uniform bottle from Vallejo. For some reason, even though you shake it to blazes, it seems to really gloss up. It took a lot to matte it down, and obviously it was mixed with the other colors. I'm pretty sure that the very dark green was okay, and the wash normally has a bit of a gloss to it that needs to be knocked down by the varnish as well. But the paint, the green paint in particular, I just that many times this morning I was going back and back and back trying to catch all those little bits of sheen, because that was quite glossy for some reason. Whether the paint has always been like that, I can't recall, or wherever it's gone a bit weird, I don't know. But I'm kind of inclined to replace it with something else if it's going to do that, because it's just a bit time consuming if you're having to keep spot shiny bits again. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how they turned out. They're such lovely figures. Now the reds, the red was done with Vallejo flat red, which itself is a little bit shiny. For some reason, satiny, I think would probably be best description. But then I washed them back over with that, and then I used AK Interactive Matte Red, I think it's called, as the highlight color, and that was no problem at all. That's turned out well. Metallics are done exclusively with scale 75 metallic range. The wood on the handles of, like, there's a tomahawk there, and a number of them have got these stakes for dealing with monsters and vampires. That wood, I'm pretty sure I base coated with Panzer Aces, Vallejo Panzer Aces new wood, and then I use the scale 75 ink tense wood as a wash over that to get the kind of woody color that I like. that's a different colour on the muskets. I used, for the muskets, I used Express Colour, Vallejo Express Colour Willow Bark, which is a really dark brown. Where is it? Yeah, Willow Bark. And then later on I went and highlighted that up afterwards with just Vallejo Flat Brown. What else can I tell you? Usual sort of assortment of off-whites. Some from the trousers I worked up from a light grey and then added off-white into that, working up various shades. And then the strapping, that was a Vallejo deck tan, and then adding in off-whites to the deck tan. Yeah, and various greys and blacks on the great coats, and yeah, a couple of different sort of black base colours for the Orthodox priest. I think that might be the German grey or something like that base for the hat, and then the robe I think might have been a smoke black. Both those from AK, I think, something like that. Just they are slightly tonally different. There's probably slightly more blue in that one on his head, but yeah. Now the only real mishap I had, and it unfortunately it can happen with resin models as well as with plastic kits, is things can break. I mean, sometimes they can happen with metal things, but yeah, this guy, unfortunately, he originally had a pom-pom just like that with a very narrow, fine attachment on him, but sadly, when I was trying to glue this this arm here in, this hand with his musket in, and holding the model, trying to get this in place, my finger just pressed against there, and that popped off. That pom-pom thing just popped off, and try as I might, I've got quite darkish kind of carpet, burgundy sort of carpet or something like that. But try as I might, crawling around on the floor trying to find it, checking to see if it had fallen in my pockets or was it somewhere on the desk. I just tried and tried to find it, so in the hopes that I could somehow reattach it, although the point of attachment would be very fine. And that was over a period of days. I kept going back and having another look. I just could not find it. So that guy's his Shaco's had a bit of wear and tear, and he's lost the pom-pom attachment on top, which kind of befits him really. When you look at his appearance, he's got holes in his great coat. It's all dustified a bit, little worn out patches. So yeah, I've given them a bit of dust and grime, just a touch, dry brushed up from the base, and yeah. So yes, there are other miniatures in the Lost Heresy catalogue that would also be suitable for your Napoleonics or your silver bayonet. I think some of these could work in as interesting character figures in your regular Napoleonics army. We've got line infantry along here, one with his forage cap and his greatcoat. Then you've got your lovely officer figure here. Then you've got a couple of grenadiers with the mitred helmets, Orthodox priest. This chap here is he is a Jaeger with, I think that's an earlier style Shako with the big disc on it with the orange trim, the cockade on his Shako front. So, and he has they have black leather strapping and stuff where you can see it, and and I've given him a blue epaulette based off some reference stuff I've got in my book on Borodino. And this chap here, he is an artilleryman. He's got the crossed cannons on his Shaco and his and the red cords and whatnot. So and both these chaps have got the different sort of piping. So he's got green collar and cuffs and stuff, but with red piping. This chap's got he's got black on his collar and his cuffs, and then red piping as well. So yeah, I had to use quite a fine brush for that. And a lot of them are adorned with various bits and bobs, little pouches, cloves of garlic, the stakes, and lots of Russian Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox crosses in gold or silver or whatever. So yeah, I've also got from Albie sent these down to me. He also bought it's an Austrian set, 10 figures as well. So I've got the Austrian set to do at some stage from the Lost Heresy miniatures. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those. I'll put some stills at the end, just a couple of stills. Yeah, I might clean up some figures next, start doing some prep work in the lead up to Christmas, and then I'll take some sort of break. And yeah, I had some stuff arrive for myself, those 10mm figures I was mentioned before in a previous video. So hopefully at some stage, when I've got the time and the motivation to do it, I'll make a start on those and see what I can come up with. But yep, I'm not sure exactly which project I'll be tackling next. I've got quite an interesting number of things that I can look at. But if I don't speak to you before, I hope you have a really blessed Christmas and New Year period, that it's peaceful, not too stressful for you. Not all of us enjoy Christmas a huge amount, not that we don't love our families or whatever like that, but it's just, it can be quite challenging, either because we remember people that aren't with us anymore, or we just find all the fuss and the bother very stressful. That's me. love seeing my family, but it's a stressful time. But some of you are very jolly people, and it's no problem, and you're in boots and all, so good on you. But have a good one, whatever the case, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.